Hello, my name is Keyack here with Keyack Technology Solutions, and in this video today, I'm going to show you how to use language learning models in ChatGPT to basically help you in your work, especially if you're a steel detailer. Now, I'm actually exploring this for the first time. I'm just going to see how well this works, and I'm going to try to ask it a few questions and see what type of results we get. Now, one thing I do want to just start the video with is that, this is information that you usually have to buy from the AISC or potentially through the NISD, the National Institute of Steel Detailing. So, if you're going to use documents, you do actually need to be behind a paid version, for instance, of ChatGPT. And I would suggest a business one. So that way, again, this is kind of like, information that you typically are paying for out there and paying the fees for. And, this shouldn't be like out there on public GPT and trained from, public language learning models. When you use the business account, it actually doesn't use, it kind of keeps that information and things that you upload only trained in your space, and it's not then on the public web. And in fact, even on the free versions, you can't upload documents to train from. So I just wanted to preface that if you're using your own proprietary information or information that you've paid for it or copyright that has copyrights on it, again, you should be using private language learning models to basically use those as learning centers and not sharing that information publicly. Okay, so getting through that, we have the basically the AIC detailing manual, and it's pretty good. It's got a great PDF. It's got lots and lots of text in here. Now, one thing that the GPT-4 won't do is it won't actually parse like images and stuff. And so when I've done things in the past trying to do images and get it to generate things, it doesn't really do that very good unless I actually upload a lot of images and train it on that visually first. But just purely in this video today, I'm going to talk about just looking at the text and things in here. Now, it's not going to like detail a beam for you, right? And so don't expect it to do that. It's more, you're using this as a lookup knowledge base. And you're trying to basically, instead of having to read through the index or the tables of contents and try to find the content in the chapter that you're looking for, maybe you know that you're doing a specific task in detailing and you're trying to figure out how to do that. Now, the other thing is, let's actually go over here to ChatGPT, and I'm using the 4.0 model here because that's limited for creating projects where I can upload files and stuff like that. But you can also create a actual GPT where you can actually limit that the knowledge that it's searching through to give you answers is only on the uploaded content or the training data and information you pass to it. I'm leaving this here on this project as full public web, so it might actually go pull data that it's learned from the AIC manual and publications and data that's actually on the public web that it crawls and that it indexes and has information that it's been trained on. But here I also uploaded the detailing manual that I was just showing you. So the PDF that I bought, and again, I'm in my own space here. And so it's going to use a combination of both, especially when I start getting into questions related to connection design. I noticed that when I asked it where it gets stuff from, it tends to say that sometimes it pulls that from AISC manual resources and things like that online. So let's just start out with what's our first question. Maybe I'll ask it, how is it, what are the steps that are involved in properly detailing a project? Okay, so now it's starting to give me some results. And oftentimes, if I tell it to tell me where is it pulling this information from, it'll actually give me references like underneath where it pulled that information from. But here we go. Like it's actually kind of telling you about pre-project preparation. And as a detailer, like I know this stuff. This is actually, this actually looks pretty correct. Like usually you're starting with the advanced bills and the anchor rods. Getting the anchor bolts out, and then, generally you're starting your erection drawings if you're drafting things by hand, depending on if you're using 3D modeling software or CAD, and then going through the detailed phase, connection design. So at a high level, this is pretty awesome. You would think that steel detailing is a very niche industry, but when you upload a lot of the content and documentation here, it can condense that and sort of give you a flow to things that you're looking for. So maybe I'll just ask it, and here we go. This is what I was looking for, is at the bottom. It actually shows where did it pull this information from and condense this, and it pulled it from the AIC detailing manual PDF that I uploaded. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and say, what is an ABM and how do you produce one? Give me detailed bullet point instructions on how to do this. Let's see what it says. Okay, so I'm just letting it go kind of through here. There's some actually good things that it's actually noticing. It's like you got to have the design drawings, and then verify material grades and connection sides. Now, I wish it would actually say look for that like in the specs or the GSN, the general structural notes on the front page. But I like this too, is the ABM for the entire project or specific phases. Should it include only certain shapes, and then or like things like plates or thick plates? So these are good considerations, pretty good stuff here. Type of member, the shape and size, the length. The only thing, let's see, like the steel weather description, the only thing I'm wondering is if it would actually tell me about point to point. Let's see, by links, and I was just wondering if it had something in there for that. Now, again, this isn't like super detailed here, but it's pretty good, like, right? It gives you kind of a good list. So if I'm new or if I'm trying to learn about detailing or learn about a specific task or phase, one, I could, of course, read the whole chapter in there. But if I'm trying to just find very pinpoint instructions or get a high-level understanding of what I'm supposed to do, this is really great. Now, let's say, teach me how to select a shear tab connection for a W12 by 14 beam that is 10 foot long with a end reaction of 6 kips on each end, framing into a W18 by 35 beam. Now, this might be a little bit outside of the scope here because I don't think that the detailing manual PDF has all of the information in it based on the AIC shape information. So because this is also still crawling the public web for information, I'm probably going to get some like results that may actually find formulas from other AIC publications related to connection design. So let's see what it says. And I probably should have told it that it was a pinned connection here, like, and that it's not moment connection and that there's no other loads, but hopefully it'll pretty much kind of follow that. I do like how it says use part 10 simple shear connections. It tells me where in the AIC manual to go look to figure this out. Am I using LRFD or ASD? And then basically it starts kind of looking through this, and it's starting to kind of go through the limit states here and looking at the material grades, which I should have probably told it that as well. So there we go. Now it's actually starting to kind of look at giving me the formulas and giving me detailed instructions and kind of which limit states that I'm supposed to be looking at. So this is pretty cool. So why am I showing you this? One, because it's not only is like say AI a better search and lookup tool, I've actually been using this with math, programming, and here I'm just trying it out here for the first couple times on using steel detailing content and connection design content. But this is a great way to actually learn how to essentially kind of like do things as well. And then when it gives you instructions, you can actually ask it, tell me more about how you come up with and give me more step-by-step instructions on doing maybe the bolt limit state calculation and things like that for bolt shear and things. So this is just again, it's supposed to be a fairly quick video. It turned into a little bit longer than I thought, but I just wanted to show you the potential of how you can use these tools every day to just speed up your information lookup, as well as guide you and train you on things when there's not always an instructor or a person to kind of teach you. Of course, you do got to be careful because things sometimes still hallucinate, and you got to really dig in and make sure that you mentally can walk through the equations and the formulas and that you're verifying the stuff that it's telling you. Because as an experienced veteran of programming and detailing, sometimes I'll ask it stuff, and I'm like looking at it, I'm like, hey, that doesn't quite look right. Did you consider this, this, and that? And so, of course, this isn't a substitute for reading the actual content manuals and being a qualified engineer and qualified detailer, but it's a really great way to kind of search for things and get information, look up stuff, especially when you're trying to pull that from a massive document like the detailing manual or the AISC manual. Okay, so here's where generic AI and language learning models really aren't quite at yet, without lots of examples to train the data and kind of get a little bit more detailed. For image generation, I was just, and again, I'm just trying to test this out as an average person, right? Like not understanding the back end and how to train stuff and things like that. I'm just trying to use the off-the-shelf AI here, and so. Basically, I asked it, hey, give me an image of all that connection design stuff that I was asking about. And, this is what it came up with. And this is You see elements as a human being of things that kind of make sense to you, but you can see that this doesn't really make any sense to relate it to what you're doing. Then I even asked it, hey, show me an erection drawing, of some steel, of a steel framing plan. It didn't really know what to do that. It looks like it's like pulling tons of images off the web and just kind of, making something up. You can see even like kind of the washed background, like from old drawings and things like that, blueprints that have been uploaded. So I actually took a snapshot here. I just quickly, scanned the web and just said, hey, here's a framing plan. Can you use this as a guide? So I uploaded this and I gave it very detailed instructions. Can you use this as a guide and then try to generate another plan for me with specific sizes and grid spacing and stuff like that? And again, I think without good enough training data or restricting what it's doing to generate that, it gets a little bit closer to kind of what I was talking about, and even puts like 10-foot and 20-foot dimensions. It's trying to figure out what I'm talking about, but it still just doesn't quite understand exactly where I'm going. Now, again, if I spend a bit more time probably trying to train this and give it a lot of examples, and kind of reinforcing what it should be doing, and using the same language that's tied to those example images that tie to the language, I'm probably going to get better results. I even told it here, try to go into 2D, and it still decided to make an isometric, even I told it to not do the isometric at all. So this is just also showing you some of the limitations. And detailing, things are very visual, right? So it is great that the language can be scanned, and if you're looking for very specific data or checklist items or instructions and stuff like that, it's pretty good. But getting it to also pull out the visual instructions that go along with those kind of step-by-step text instructions, not quite there yet. And so I'll leave you on one last thought here that you might use is detailing manuals. So if you're a fabricator and you've got a massive detailing manual with lots and lots and lots of instructions and content, and you're wondering why are your detailers not following your instructions, it's probably because it's too much, or it may not be sorted in the chronological order of doing a job and breaking it down into the key steps that a detailer needs. So if you're a detailer and you're getting a massive document from a fabricator, sometimes you're going through step by step of the job. Basically, where I was asking it, hey, what are the steps that I should be doing on a job, anchor bolts and ABM and things like that. Well, think about it. You could actually upload the fabricator's detailing manual, and if it's got all the right data in there, even if it's kind of spread out into different places, you can have AI help scan and search that, and not just do simple Control F in the PDF and find something you're looking for and then have to sift through all those different things. You can use AI to scan that detailing manual and try to give you instructions and references that are more consolidated and still bullet point action form for the specific task you're doing. So if you're doing the anchor bolt plan, try to find out about what are the requirements and things that they are specifically noting related to anchor bolts, and have it just summarize that for you, which just speeds you up and saves you a lot of time. And so that way you don't have to kind of do things based on your best guess, and you didn't check the detailing standard, and then your fabricator comes back to you and says, why didn't you look at the detailing standard? We have all that information in there. So these are the kind of just low-hanging fruit use cases where I can see that language learning models can potentially help you out in your everyday production.